Hello. How are you today? Do you want to dive into a book that might just surprise you? Whether it becomes your next favorite or one you might skip, let's find out what readers are saying about it. Kate Ivey, who has 25 likes, says 4.75 that ending slow www burn. Enemies to lovers. High stakes. Hidden identities. Tarot magic. This was epic. You consume my every waking moment. Devour my thoughts. You've poisoned my halls with your scent. Flooded my dreams to the point that I cannot tell if it is a delight or a nightmare to want to drown in you. If you hate me, then hate me. Let us be eternal rivals. Let any future where you and I are more than enemies finally be done and gone. Hallie, the common room shop, who has 41 likes, says, this book just single-handedly resurrected the NONINSTA lust enemies to lovers trope. Slow burn. Fantasy is back. This book has absolutely everything a reader would love. Crisp, intelligent writing, tarot card magicas, Brecker Regulus, black-coated MMC tension so taut it hurts. Super epic magic battles, atmospheric fall vibes, plot twists. I am completely blown away. This was phenomenal. I will be thinking about it for a long time. Huge thank you to Libro FM for the audio arc. This audiobook is flawless. Anne, who has 281 likes, says, I am not even being dramatic when I say this was one of the worst reading experiences I've had in a long time. Finishing Arcana Academy didn't feel like crossing a finish line, it felt like dragging myself out of quicksand. I didn't celebrate. I didn't reflect. I just closed the book and exhaled like I'd been held hostage by 544 pages of pure tedium. I specifically requested this because it's a romantasy set in a magical academy with dark academia vibes. I love this kind of setting. Secretive institutions. Forbidden magic. Characters with emotional damage and agendas. Yes, please, except somehow this book took all of those elements, sucked the life out of them, and served them up in a way that felt lifeless and oddly detached from its own premise. The story sounds promising: a morally gray heroine with a tragic past, a mysterious school of magic, a brooding prince, a tarot-based magic system that should be cool. And in concept, it is cool, but in practice, it just didn't land for me. What should have been tense, immersive, and emotionally layered ended up feeling muted, meandering, and strangely empty. I kept waiting for a spark, some tension, some hook to keep me invested, and it just never came. The writing is dense and repetitive. Every thought, feeling, and observation is repeated, explained, and then re-explained just in case you didn't catch it the first 2 times. Internal monologues loop endlessly. Dialogue meanders without purpose. Scenes stretch far beyond their weight, and the prose lacks the clarity or rhythm to create any real momentum. It's not badly written, but it is exhausting. Every chapter dragged on longer than it needed to, weighed down by narration that rarely trusts the reader to infer anything. The pacing is a structural mess. Time jumps are vague and sudden. Emotional beats feel unearned, and the story lacks a clear internal rhythm. Big developments either race past without weight or drag on for so long that they lose all impact. For a story about secrecy, danger, and power, there was shockingly little urgency. Everything felt flatlined. I was bored more often than not, which is never what I want from a book that promises magical stakes and emotional complexity. The characters didn't help. The heroine, Clara, is positioned as clever, determined, and capable, but we're mostly told this through narration, not shown it through layered action or meaningful choices. Her emotional arc doesn't deepen. She circles the same thoughts again and again. The love interest, Kaylee's, on the other hand, is the only truly tropey part of the book. He's painted as dark and dangerous, But he never actually does anything to justify that description. He broods. He monologues. And that's about it. Their dynamic doesn't grow so much as it jolts forward without build-up or chemistry. The romance, if you can call it that, is barely there for most of the book and then suddenly escalates out of nowhere. There's no simmering tension, no emotional progression, just a flat shift that didn't feel earned. I wasn't rooting for them. I wasn't against them either. I just didn't care. And that indifference is what disappointed me most. The worldbuilding, which should have been this book's strength, had all the ingredients of something fascinating, but they never came together in a cohesive way. The tarot-based magic system is genuinely creative and ambitious, but it often feels more like a backdrop than an active part of the plot. It's either dumped in exposition-heavy chunks or mentioned vaguely during moments of action, never fully integrated into the emotional or thematic core of the book. The school setting also felt underutilized. It's supposed to be central, but it fades into the background and loses all sense of place or atmosphere. This book didn't stumble because it was doing something familiar. It stumbled because it took a solid idea and drained it of momentum, tension, and emotion. It wasn't messy. It wasn't bold. It was just deeply, persistently boring. And for me, that's harder to forgive than a book that at least tries to take risks. Bottom line, I am giving this 2 stars mostly for the concept. Even though I hated this book, I wouldn't say I wouldn't recommend it. If you're drawn to tarot-based magic systems and want something structurally different from typical romantasy fare, you might enjoy it. But for me, this was an exhausting, joyless read I genuinely couldn't wait to be done with. Thank you Hachette Australia for the arc. Lahu has 47 likes says. 0.5 This was my first novel from Elise Kova and oh my, it won't be my last. I adore a fantasy romantasy with a dark academia setting, and this did it in a way that was ethereal, twisty, and completely tension-filled. The magic system surrounding tarot cards was as unique as it was fascinating, and the microtrope of the curriculum, but it's trying to kill you, was so fun to navigate. The love interest too at every given opportunity. I wanted to read this book. It was all I could think about. This is my exact taste in fantasy. One had the time of my life. I am scared to see how long I need to wait for book 2. Books Blabbering Kate, who has 43 likes, says, One Dark Window meets Harry Potter. Clara is sentenced to a lifetime in prison for inking tarot cards, a rare power reserved for practitioners at the elite Arcana Academy. She is offered her freedom in exchange for helping the Academy's cold headmaster, Prince Kales. Her identity as a secret and sheer presence is explained away by her engagement to the second-born prince. Clara is brash and bold, highly emotional, yet loyal to those she loves. She also has more power than others and is a great thief and very capable. Kales is cold, calculating, controlling, or maybe he's protective, ambitious, hurting and hiding. He also has a pet cat, Pris. This was exceedingly slow burn. You are on your hands and knees with a torch for mere crumbs. But these crumbs are akin to luxury chocolate or truffles or caviar. If to bring about a new world, a better world, I must be the villain. If I must do evil things for the greater good, then so be it. I'll play the part now and be reborn a hero in my next life. Saying that, I needed more romancing before the main event. It was all very slow and then bam. And how they got together was not my favorite. There is a lot of world building to get your head around the tarot cards magic. The myths, Clara's past, her family, her old friends and gang. Then you have a lot of names from students to nobility to past connections. I did love the concept of the tarot card magic system, but wish there was more explanation. Maybe diagrams, perhaps this will be added in for the final copy. Clara didn't stand out to me as a heroine. She is a very typical romantasy protagonist, and Kaylee's was the brooding yet misunderstood romance. Physical arc gifted by Del Rey. Bookstagram TikTok.